All right. Well, today we want to welcome Jess Asovski, who is a clinical social worker and therapist, to the Lexia Learners Lounge. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm so happy to be here. Nice to meet you, Jess, finally.
Yes. We've been talking, messaging each other for a good couple of weeks. And then today we've gotten a chance to get to know each other a little bit before the interview. And it's been awesome. And now we can, the audience can get to know you a little bit better. So tell us, what kind of therapy do you specialize in?
Okay, so I am a child and family therapist, which is a nice, it's inclusive of anything that parents, families, children need help with. That is sort of under the umbrella of the work that I do. I also do trauma work as well, but all under the, the family dynamic. That's basically my expertise.
And is there a specific age range that you work with?
I love working with little kids, so as young as 2, 4, 5, 6 through the preteen years. On a day-to-day basis, I can see all ages. But I would like to say that under the age of 6, I typically do more parenting work, because parents are the primary influence in a child's life, unless there's trauma, in which case I do have the training to work one-on-one with these children.
All right. And how do you typically work with your children? What are we, tell us what kind of therapy we're going to talk about today.
Okay, so I specialize in play therapy for children as a registered play therapy supervisor, which just means I have additional postgraduate training, extensive training in all forms of play therapy. My belief is that we best reach our children through play. If you've ever tried to tell a kid things, sometimes it's like in one ear and out the other ear, and we adults know that, so we keep talking at them. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But with play therapy, I am trained to really look at a child's play and interpret it to see what themes are coming through the play. And then that tells me, well, what challenges does the child have? What's going on with their self-esteem? What are their concerns? And then I watch them through play, and play itself is healing, but then I also am trained to see where the play is stuck. So that will let me know when a child plays a theme over and over again, 6 sessions in a row, I will then make an intervention in the play. So I'm not going to say, well, John, what do you think about this? I'm going to say, well, you keep seeing the ambulance race around the sand. Every week we see this. There seems to be a lot of accidents lately. And then that allows the child to either take it or not. But it's sort of like an adult therapy. When you would challenge a client, you would say, I've been hearing you talk about this every week now for 2 months. And so what are you going to do about it? We're not saying that to children. We're interjecting in the play. So that's one kind of work, work that I do, which is we sit on the floor literally, and I have a beautiful office, a play therapy office, and children get to pick what they want. So it's non-directive. And then I observe. And then I interject supportively, or if needed, to maintain the safety of the play. So the goal is always so a child feels like they have a place to own their voice, to express what's going on, because their language is in the play.
And one of my things that I've observed over the years, so my youngest child is 19 and my oldest child is 27. And when my oldest child was in kindergarten, kids played in school. Today, kids don't play in school anymore. They took the little kitchen out of the preschool, or out of the the kindergarten back when my youngest son was entering kindergarten. Do you find that kids have a harder time playing in your office than they did when you first started your business?
Yeah.
Your
It's a good question. So no, the answer is children love to play. A child who doesn't want the toys in the office and just stands in the corner and is pulling on their mom, they're either anxious, something's going on, but children naturally love to play. I have, in the 20 years of my practice, I can count 2 kids that have not wanted to play, and that was severe anxiety. They would just, we needed a different approach. And even with these kind of kids, I've recently trained a lot in another play therapy modality called TheraPlay, which is all about using the relationship between the mom and the kids to foster connection. So the goals are to literally teach parents how to connect with their children, have the eye contact as we're spending more and more time on our phones and on all of our devices. Our kids are getting lost in the shuffle. So a lot of therapy is becoming about having parents do the nurturing, do the engagement, challenge their kids in play, create structure and boundaries in the play by doing games with their children. And I've got tons and tons and tons of games that even now, while we're doing things on telehealth, initially I had a tremendous amount of hesitance working with kids online because I so don't believe that children should be doing technology all day long. But what I have found is that I can just tell the parents what to play. And I'm thinking about a 5-year-old I was working with yesterday. First thing she does is, what are we doing today? Game, Kelly, we're playing a game. And then we have a secret handshake with each one of her parents. And then we've got, we've been blowing imaginary butterflies from each person's hand to the other person's hand and imagining the butterflies meandering around. We've been playing, creating food on each other's backs, and they're sitting at the kitchen table. And it's like, wow, this family is healing. They're sitting together and they are playing. And the parents acknowledge she's spending about 5 hours a day watching TV. Okay. But I lost you for a second. Where are you? Okay, here you are.
Okay, I paused you at secret.
Secret handshake is where parents get to develop a secret handshake with their children. So at any point of contact throughout the day, the child wants a little extra something, or if a kid is anxious, going out to school, coming back, doing their Zoom classes. So this particular child has, with her dad, they hold hands and they go back and forth 5 times, and then they do a fist bump. And with her mom, it's, and it is a way to connect. So no matter what's going on in the kid's day, she can always come up for affection and connection by saying, I want to do a secret handshake. And then we play preparing food, your favorite food on your back. So now we're preparing tacos with a little light massage, or cookies. We're rolling out the dough and we're sprinkling the chocolate chips and we're mixing the eggs, actually in the reverse. We're creating pizza, sushi, and it's all about play. We've even gotten her, she has difficulty reading, and she's in a school that's very academic, and the parents are very concerned that, like what you said, they're pushing the toys out at 5 years old. So she's got these words and she needs to practice. The parents were yelling and they were kind of like so stressed out. And I said, well, let's play a game. So she has her snack, and every word she reads, she eats another snack. So Now we've turned homework into a game. So this may be a learning disability or not, we're not sure, but the motivation to help her, so she sometimes has a snack, sometimes she asks for a tickle, sometimes she asks for a hug, and sometimes she asks for a little chocolate chip. And now we have an entire game. So it's different than the customary how you imagine playing as in a play therapy room, but we are actually playing for an hour over the screen. And now the parents know exactly what to do with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And they're home. Like I've given them hands-on, and then I'll do a session to help them with the parenting challenges and teach them where to intersect the play, whether it's in the learning, whether it's in with, frustration or any challenges.
So you've learned ways to transfer helping families through the pandemic, and now you can help families all over the place, it sounds like.
Correct.
That's amazing. So what kind of recommendations do you have for the kind of learners that I work with who struggle with reading and spelling and anxiety and low self-esteem? Do you have some recommendations for parents?
Sure. So the thing is that as a parent, I just want to say that sometimes parents are triggered by their children's disability. And that is the first thing that needs to be addressed, is that parents need the support to work on, perhaps they've had their own disability. And so now they're seeing it in their child, and it interrupts the flow of connection because it's an issue on that end. And that is something parents really need to address.
Mm-hmm.
Parents also really need to do their own self-care. So when the kids are coming home and they have the homework, or they're challenged with their self-esteem, that we have the mental bandwidth to really be there to support our children on a cellular level. In terms of suggestions, I believe that in preventative care, so at different points of contact throughout the day, I would recommend that parents seek to compliment their children, not artificially, but to just say, what a sweetheart you have. That was so sharing and kind of you. Or to offer experiences that are not connected to disabilities, like helping, make salad, or, battering the chicken, or anything a child likes, to really encourage new experiences that have nothing to do with the disability, that really can focus on building a strength, coming from a strength-based approach. As parents, we have the ability to hone in not only on what's going wrong and what's difficult, but what's exciting and unique and special. Maybe you have a budding photographer there, or anybody, fashion, design, anything. For the boys, maybe they're good at building. Some of my clients do these incredibly unique Lego sets that, they've got so much focus, and you're like wondering, why can't they read a sentence, right? Because that's the disability. But in the Lego set, they're doing perfectly well. So to just look at your child, see what they're good at, and try to make learning as fun as possible. Like with the thing I just mentioned, you can always get a kid to work if they're getting a reward. As a matter of fact, I don't believe in candy, but let me tell you, one of my children does have a disability. We talked about this a little before, is unusual NVLD, which had a sort of characterized by many different pieces, but one was a severe math disability. And so math was a disaster every single day. On the floor tantrums, disaster. And my husband and I sat down one day and we said, this is it. We can't do this anymore. And he came up with this idea, because, he's very playful as well, that we took a little jelly bean, and every math example she did, she got one of those tiny, M&Ms or jelly beans, they're like microscopic, and we put it on the example. So when she got 3 examples, she was able to trade up to a gumdrop if she wanted. Now she could eat it, but she usually waited. Then she got another 3 candies or something, and then she could trade up to an actual candy. So by the time she did 10 examples, really she just ate 1 sweet at the end of the day. And then we drove a hard bargain, which we bought stickers, Hello Kitty stickers. And she was able to trade in her candy for 2 Hello Kitty stickers. Well, what do you think she did? Sometimes she ate candy, sometimes she got stickers. Kids have candy anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So we did what we needed to do, and that was it. And
well, and I mean, we all work to be compensated. So a lot of times families will say, well, I don't want to, bribe my kids or give them a reward for something they need to do. But we receive a reward for our time, even though we might enjoy doing what we're doing. We need to all earn a living. So there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with providing some sort of reward for doing an activity, especially one that's challenging, because it encourages people to want to try to work harder at something. And it's hard to work hard at things that are hard.
Right. And especially with dyslexia, I have a niece who's now, I guess, 14 years old. And, luckily she was raised by a parent who has a master's in special ed. But I want you to know, at 12 years old, she just shut down and she refused to learn. She just refused. My sister took her on an international trip and made her pay with her own money in the summer, and she earned it back $100 at a time by doing homework every day. Well, let me tell you, I mean, I would have never thought about this, but in 8th grade, she earned back $1,000.
Wow.
And she became a stellar student that did her homework every single day. Now, I may have suggested saving up the money and building the money, but they were going anyway, and the kids wanted extras. And she said, look, you can pay for it, and you can earn it back by doing homework.
That's awesome.
You got to do what you got to do. Kids who have learning disabilities, we just need to find a way to get them. And being playful is different than bribing kids. Okay? Because for my child, we didn't feel like we were bribing her. We were having a game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it happened to be that the game included some candy. So she never knew. Homework became something that she was looking forward to. As a matter of fact, sometimes we threw candies down a mountain and we did a hunt, and she had to scramble and go find, and not everything was food that got thrown down the mountain, So the idea that I just want to share is play with your child, because when you keep talking about what's wrong, the more our brains focus on what's not working,
Mm-hmm.
the more our self-esteem goes down, 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 down the toilet drain, literally.
Yeah.
But when you play as a parent, when you provide incentives for something that is so difficult that you yourself wouldn't do if you were a kid, right? How many of us would give up if we had to deal with a learning disability? It's not easy.
Yeah. Well, I find that people who have struggles tend to work twice as hard so that they learn to not give up as adults, because as kids, they weren't allowed to give up. You had to figure out a way. So that's, great point.
Yeah.
So we're coming near end of our time together, and I wanted to let everyone know that you have donated a gift for a drawing for our listeners. So tell us a little bit about the donation that you have made.
Okay, sure. So it's a little mini series. I've been developing programs for parents recently. I'm Parenting with Gelly. That's how I'm on social media. And this is a mini series called How to Maximize Your Spare Time and Create Parenting Gold. Don't ask me why I did this long name. Bad. Okay. But the idea was all of us are so busy, right? Our lives, and especially since COVID hit, like as parents, we're like maxed out. And it's like, what do we do with our kids? Okay, you need to eat, you need to go to class, you need to like do your homework, you need to eat your dinner, get in the bath and go to sleep. And you need to stop watching TV when I tell you to, right? And it's like, so kids are just hearing all these like, just move from here to there to there to there, and we've forgotten the connection aspect. So this is a mini series that just teaches parents how to just connect. Like, okay, take a step back. Yeah, what's breakfast like? What's your morning routine, afternoon routine, dinner, bedtime, bath time routine, and weekends, to see like, hey, it doesn't take too much to boost connection in your life. It doesn't really take too much to extend yourself so that family becomes a happy place to be, which is my motto. Happy kids, happy families, happy kids, happy parents, all of that stuff. Not to be cheesy, but that it really does happen, you know?
Oh, and it sounds like it's helping people appreciate where they are right now, because when we have children, very often we're just dying for them to get out of that stage because it's so much more work, and then they get out of that stage and then it's like, where's my baby?
Yes.
So
yes.
you want to enjoy the time you have with your kids.
Yes. That is the goal.
How long is the mini series?
So it's mini. It's about 6 videos, and you can take them in bite-sized pieces, about 4 to 5 minutes each, and then it just gives you some very practical pieces. That's what I'm all about. Just practical. How do we start right now?
Awesome.
And just connect with our kids.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And thank you for your generosity to donate that for a lucky winner who will get that opportunity. And if someone wants to connect with you for some of your other programs, how would they, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Okay, I'm on Facebook and Instagram all the time, so you can DM me, PM me, whichever way you want, and I respond pretty quickly. So it's Parenting with Gelly, Gelly.
Awesome.
And
well,
I look forward to connecting with anyone who wants more info. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Gelly, for sharing with us your experience and suggestions to help make life just a little bit easier for everybody.
Sure. And it's great to get to know you, Jess. We're going to have to connect more again soon.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. All right.